definitely stay here to watch it, that's for sure. And then I can call you tomorrow and say, hey.
We'll lock the door so you don't run out.
But yeah, that's all I have. But yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to start.
I'm excited to have you.
Thanks.
Welcome aboard. Okay, look for a motion to adjourn the special meeting portion.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're gonna move on to the work session. We're gonna skip the some signs and the flags, we just did it. Now we can do public comment if anyone wants to, anything additional. Okay, academic affairs.
Sorry,
This is up to that.
it's all of you, so it's not, I'll make it super quick. So I wanted to have an opportunity to share with you some of the things that we've been working on this school year. So Rachel's gonna help me with our presentation. Last year, we began our comprehensive planning process by asking a simple but powerful question. What does our dream school look like? Our comprehensive planning steering committee, which was made up of teachers, administrators, board members, community members, students, and families, came together to share their hopes for the future of education in Berwick. We captured these ideas. They stayed on papers that were hanging in our boardroom for months throughout the entire planning process, a visible reminder of the community's collective vision. From that foundation of broad stakeholder engagement, our steering committee made a meaningful decision to propose a shift in our district's mission and vision statement. You can go to the next slide. We wanted those statements to authentically represent the voices in the room and the many people that each member of the committee represented. The result was a revised mission statement that speaks to the why behind everything we do, and a revised vision statement that paints a clear picture of what learning in Berwick should look like. That vision statement has become our compass. It's what we return to when we make decisions about what we bring into our buildings and into our district. It's kept us anchored in the community's voice, even as the day-to-day work of education moves quickly. Our vision is organized around 3 goals, and tonight I want to take some time to share the progress we have made in each of them, and to give you a look at what is still to come. There is no way that I could share everything that's happening in our classrooms, but I did want to give you a taste of what we've been working on this school year. Go ahead, Rachel. So our first goal centers around dynamic hands-on learning opportunities. In our elementary schools, our technology classes have been transformed into true STEM experiences through the We Will Build It Better curriculum, bringing engineering thinking, design challenges, real-world problem solving into each student's week. Students at every grade level are engaging in hands-on science and environmental learning, from kindergartners learning with the Vernal School to 3rd graders who are studying bats and owls with the Pennsylvania Game Commission. Our newly formed Eco Pups Club has been a wonderful addition to our after-school offerings, especially for our youngest learners. Our mobile planetarium brought visits to our 1st and 3rd graders, and they also took part in Blue Origin's Postcards to Space, which gave students a genuine connection to space science. Our students sent postcards up in some ships that are going into outer space, and they'll be coming back to them later this school year. Recently, our 1st and 4th graders collaborated on cross-grade projects, both with building boats for George Washington and planning a 250th birthday party for the United States as a culmination of their studies of the American Revolution.
Can I tell my story quick?
Yes.
So this will just make you laugh, but we went over to the east here when they were doing the 250th, and 1st graders were working with 4th graders, and we went in, and the one teacher said, to the kids, like, can you tell our guests of what we're celebrating today? And all these kids raised their hand, and the one little girl, she called on the one little girl, and the girl said, we're celebrating Officer Rob's birthday. That made my week.
We had a Civil War reenactor, a local Native American family, and recently high school students came in to partner with our elementary students on Spanish language skills, which brought learning to life in ways that no textbook can replicate. Students at all grade levels have seen mathematics instruction enhanced through the use of math manipulatives. And if you've been in our kindergarten through 2nd grade classrooms, you'll see them enhancing their early literacy skills through hands-on learning with whiteboards, magnetic letters, and some of them even using their computers for digital word work. In middle school, our 5th grade students completed a fully student-driven project cycle, identifying a need, designing a solution, creating a budget, and authoring a successful grant proposal to revamp their outdoor recess space into a more inclusive area. Our 6th grade students have fine-tuned our presentation skills and are now embarking upon a project to enhance our Thompson Run environmental area. Representatives of our 5th and 6th grade classes will be attending the Youth and Philanthropy Grant Award ceremony tomorrow to officially accept their award. This is a very powerful example of student empowerment, as our middle school students wrote grant applications that were evaluated and awarded by a team of high school students. Our 7th graders have launched into the Empowerment Collaborative, a framework built on the belief that students learn best when they are empowered to lead, innovate, and solve real-world problems that matter to their communities. We are well on our way to being a true empowerment middle school. Earlier this school year, I mentioned to our middle school staff that our school is considered one to watch, and I think I made people a little nervous when I shared that. But we really are. Our middle school has continued to be a hallmark when we're in conversations with the Department of Education and the Department of Labor and Industry. And this week, we're going to welcome some legislators to see our learning in action.
So Friday, if you want to come, 10:30, Senator Colbert and Representative Ledbetter are going to be here to kind of see the Empowerment Collaborative and great work that the middle school is doing. So we're excited, and you're welcome to join us if you want to come. 10:30 Friday.
Our students and staff have already started to take the leap from engagement to empowerment through classrooms as student-led workspaces, real-world learning, career exploration, and community connection. And our 8th grade students have engaged in hands-on design challenges through the We Will Build It Better technology and Connects engineering projects. In our high school, we have students who are completing the Pennsylvania College of Technology Advanced Manufacturing Pre-Apprenticeship Program, which is a rigorous 60-hour experience that concludes itself with students earning credentials directly from Pennsylvania College of Technology and the Department of Labor and Industry. Our staff members also took part in learning this year and enhanced their skills. We have 11 teachers in our district in elementary, middle, and high school that are participating in a fully funded PDE STEM endorsement program this spring and summer, which allows them to deepen their content knowledge and integrate STEM more effectively into their classrooms. We had 6 educators participate in the Catalyst Fellowship, which is a teacher in the workplace initiative that places teachers directly inside the local businesses and industries to experience firsthand the environments our students will one day enter. Can you go ahead, Rachel? Our second pillar is around strong community partnerships. Our elementary students have been supported by an impressive network of local and regional partners. While we were very lucky to be awarded our PA Smart Planning Grant this year, the vast majority of the activities that we brought to our students were brought to them by volunteer organizations. Geisinger, Columbia Montour Tech, Penn State Extension, the Pennsylvania Game Commission, Talent Energy, Crispin Valve, and Keystone Wood Products are just some of the organizations that met with our students this year.
And I might as well do it now, just a thank you to Geisinger. They recently, it was a process, we gave them a list of items that we thought our medical science program could use, and they have, I guess, warehouses where they put things that they don't need or outdated for the hospital. But they were able to donate 2 hospital beds that are electronic that will be able to teach kids how to put patients in and out of, and some various other things. So just a special thanks to Geisinger for their donation, which will enhance our program.
Later on this school year, our 3rd and 4th grade students will participate in a Future Builders and Innovators Day. This is a cross-institutional collaboration with Columbia Montour Tech, the Children's Museum of Bloomsburg, and our Chief Science Officers. This event was selected for the Remake Learning Days Mega Host Award, which has granted our district some key funding to help make this event a success. We were selected as the sole Mega Host Award event in our region of Pennsylvania. Recently, our middle school students had their Yes Day, Your Economic Success Day, which brought 17 community partners, including a number of district alumni, into our middle school. Almost 400 7th and 8th grade students took part in this. It's an interactive, community-driven program which brings local professionals directly into our classrooms. Earlier this year, our high school hosted a Pathways to Success event which brought our community organizations, students, and families together. And we continue to advocate for strong articulation agreements with our local post-secondary institutions so that we can streamline the process for our students who choose to seek out a post-secondary career or post-secondary experience and make the most of their high school time here. Students at every grade level are connecting classroom learning to real-world experiences. Career awareness has been woven into real-world visits. Our first graders learned about health science through visitors from Geisinger Nuclear Medicine, and our second graders learned about careers in agriculture and technology directly from industry partners. We've had our students celebrate American history through building boats, visiting historical sites, and engaging with reenactors rather than passive observation. In middle school, again, our 5th grade students experienced real-world project management. They did this on their own. Their teachers helped them to come up with some ideas of what they might want to enhance in their school system, and our 5th graders wanted to focus on their outdoor area that they had for recess. They worked in teams, they've created a budget, and they were able to write a grant and secure that. In our high school, we have seen our students not only complete the Pennsylvania College AMP program, which earns them the Certified Manufacturing Associate Certification, which is a pre-apprenticeship credential from the Department of Labor and Industry. We have also seen a number of our students trained and competitively selected to work at Talon Energy during the plant outage, gaining firsthand professional level experience in the energy sector alongside industry workers. We saw high school students completing the Lackawanna Construction Pre-Apprenticeship Program as well, which puts them on a direct path to entry-level roles in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and construction trades. Members of our senior class also participated in college and career readiness seminars designed to prepare them for life outside of the Berwick Area School District, including access to professional clothing choices. We have our junior class, which will be attending our Junior Achievement Inspire event coming up very shortly, which brings in nearly 3,000 students from 35 plus schools with 85 hands-on exhibits for our students across 10 career clusters. You can go ahead on to the next. I want to talk to you a little bit about what's happening next. On April 14th, this coming week, we're going to have some students that will be attending that Junior Achievement Inspire event. On April 22nd, if you are family members of our first or second graders, we're going to host our first ever pop-up playground where our first and second graders are going to be able to design their very own houses and castles and airplanes and whatever else they'd like to do. This is a screen-free event. It all has kid-safe tools that will have that on April 22nd. We have Rohrbox farm visits that are coming up through the remainder of this year. Our second grade students are going to get to take part in an aviation experience where we will have an ultralight plane come and visit us here in our school district and some indoor drone exploration. Our sixth grade students will continue working on their Thompson Run project. You might see them out there during the day. They're hoping to take that Thompson Run area from something that, I don't know if all of you even know what's at the Thompson Run area out behind the middle school, but that's been a space where we're not necessarily utilizing it to its full capacity. So our sixth grade students are going to be helping to put out some signage and making that something into a real usable outdoor space for our school district and our community. Our seventh grade students are going to be getting ready to come in May to submit their proposals to the board for their pool project. They've been working very diligently on this, and I do not want to give anyone any details beforehand, but please know that they're ready to come and share with you their proposal. This fall, through our partnership with Junior Achievement, we will bring our own local Junior Achievement event here to the Berwick Area School District. This will be a career exploration experience for all of our juniors and seniors. Our ninth grade students have the opportunity to take part in a new course next school year. It's called Innovation Lab, Technology, Trades, and the Future. I want to share this with you because this is a very innovative course design that was brought forth by our teachers. 4 of our teachers came together to work to design a year-long experience for their students. building upon the strength of our middle school empowerment focus. This type of flexible and creative course design, which allows them to take part in 4 45-day experiences under the guidance of expert teachers, allows them to explore different opportunities, and we'd like to see as many of our 9th graders take part in this as we can. The work is happening at every level, from our elementary visits to our high school pre-apprenticeships, and this isn't something that's an exception, but you'll notice that this is becoming the norm in our district. As we celebrate the progress we've made this year, we also recognize that this momentum requires intentional stewardship of our resources. Tonight, we're going to be continuing our conversation about budgeting.
Mr. Lilo is.
Okay, you ready? And the work you have heard about this evening is exactly why this conversation matters. Our vision for learning
Can I say something before you go?
Yes,
So I've said this to many of you through conversation, but one of the areas that I have seen in this district, and it's not a negative, but I want you to be aware that we have the least amount of students per teacher at our high school level. And in public ed, in my opinion, that should be completely flopped, and our least amount of kids should be at our elementary level per teacher. And we'll be able to do some things over time, but we'll talk more about that when I give my presentation, which hopefully won't be as long as Dr. Shotwell's.
I've not talked all year.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm making all of this up at one time, okay? Next year I'll pace you.
But I think it's, to me, you should have your resources at the elementary level versus what we have going on here. It's not a knock on Berwick, it's just I think that that's an area that we really need to look at over time.
You can go to the next slide. I just want to close by giving some thank yous. As we look ahead, our focus remains on continuing to build upon the momentum we've created, expanding authentic hands-on learning opportunities for students. Nothing that you've heard tonight would have happened without the unified commitment of an entire community of people who believe in the vision that our school district set forward. To our teachers, thank you for your continued focus on expanding access to rigorous, relevant, and joyful learning experiences for our students. Providing deeper learning opportunities is not always easy. It requires creativity, flexibility, and a willingness to step outside the familiar. But it's also so worthwhile, and our students feel that. To my building and central office administrators, thank you for not hanging up the phone when I call with another idea. And thank you for your flexibility and your continued willingness to lean in on the opportunities for our students. This year, and this spring in particular, has been an especially busy one. And yet time and again, you have made room for the work that matters most. Hearing and seeing the excitement that our students feel when learning is real has made every bit of it worthwhile. And to all of the staff who are working behind the scenes, we could not do any of this without you. To our secretaries and our business office support team, thank you for ensuring we have the supplies, resources, and transportation that make these experiences possible. And Brent, if you can please pass this on. To our buildings, grounds, and custodial teams, a very special thank you. Authentic hands-on learning is not always neat and tidy, and you go above and beyond every single time to help to make this happen. That's it, thank you.
We're going to go a little bit out of order, and I'm just going to do my presentation.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about long-range staffing and financial planning. Okay. So as the last couple of months, I mean, we talked last month that we are facing a $2.9 million deficit for the 26-27 year. As I go into this presentation, I think there's a couple important things that need to be put on the table, and they were last month as well. That $2.9 million deficit does not reflect any increase in state revenue. The governor's proposal equates to about $848,000 and that's what the proposal is. That doesn't mean we're gonna get 848,000. You usually don't get the first proposal, but I will tell you it's probably not gonna go up. So, I'll be happy if we get the 848. And that 848, is made up in basic ed increases, special ed increases, and the Ready to Learn block grant. But as I stated last month, it's still way too early to determine what that state budget is gonna look like. This $2.9 million deficit does not include any increase in real estate tax. At this time, all data centers would pay 100% of their assessed taxes. There has been no LERTA agreement, so the district will benefit from tax increase revenue by 100%. We don't know what that will look like yet, but hopefully that will come to fruition. And this number does not include a tax increase. The board has the option to raise or not raise taxes between 0% and 4.8%. The changes or options that I'm going to share tonight are options to reduce the deficit in a manner that doesn't impact students the least and education the least. These options, I think it's important to say that these options, no one loses a job, and these options, as I stated earlier, will not make major complications for the educational process. These options are elimination of positions through attrition, and what that simply means is not replacing a retirement. First topic that we're going to talk about, this is our current middle school model. We have 10, 9, 10, 10. I'm not going to read every grade level to you, but that's the classroom teachers that we currently have as far as our structure of our middle school. The slide below, where it has the numbers, Berwick is on the far left, and then local districts. These are the average class sizes in the building, and as you will see, Berwick is currently the lowest. We have somewhere between 16 and 18 kids in a classroom, and you can go across and look at the numbers of districts that are like in size, and then also districts that are just geographically close to us. An option that we have is to change how the middle school looks, take the classroom teachers down to 8 classroom teachers and do this in a team approach, 2 teams on each grade level. And what that will also mean is at the same time those 8 teachers are teaching, there'll be 2 concurrent specials running. So you will stay at 10 teachers for each grade level at all of the given times. What this does is it gives us the ability to reduce 3 positions through attrition, and this is how it will impact class size. So Berwick is the top. 5th grade would move to 19, 6th grade 18, 7th grade to 19, 8th grade to 21. The numbers that I have below are the same numbers I had on the previous slide, and this model still allows us to keep very low class sizes at the middle school. So what do these changes look like? I think there are pros and cons to it. It will increase special offerings by additional STEM teachers and character education to our rotating specials. This would be accomplished through our current staffing. It provides common planning time to teachers, consistent time for project-based and problem-based learning, which Liz talked about earlier, the Empowerment Collaborative being one of those. It adds intervention time for all grade levels. Probably some of the cons, there would no longer be a double block of math and ELA. What I would say to that is everybody thinks, okay, well, our test scores are not good. How can we reduce time in math and ELA? What I would tell you is that model has existed for quite some time and it hasn't worked so far. Class size, as I already stated, would increase slightly, but remains extremely reasonable and remains one of the lowest locally. To make this work, we would need to move 1 science teacher from the high school to the middle school. We would not replace the high school science teacher. We currently have 7 science teachers at the high school level, we would move to 6. I think these are important numbers for you to process. Physically in our building on a day-to-day basis, we have 552 kids. 76 kids are in our cyber, so those are additional 76 kids, so that's not taking away from that 552. I put a couple school districts below and how many science teachers they have and the size of their high schools. So Central Columbia has 585, and all of these schools that are listed have more kids than us and have less science teachers. So Central Columbia has 585 students, they have 6 science teachers. Danville, 625, have 5 science teachers. Columbia Montour, 582, have 5 science teachers. Chickalimmy has 850 and has 6 science teachers. One option that we have is to do this model. This would save, like I have already stated, 3 positions would be eliminated through attrition, and that gives you an approximate $375,000 savings. These are all options as well. So I would like, as we go, if you have questions or you have things to say, just speak up. I would like this to be a dialogue. Other options that you have. We have a retirement in our high school math. We currently have 8 math teachers at the high school. I'm not going to repeat the numbers that I said. 552 kids in our building. We have 8 math teachers. Central Columbia, again, 585 kids. They have 6 math teachers. Danville, 625, have 5 math teachers. Columbia Montour, 582. They have 5 math teachers, and I believe they are looking at potentially 4 and reducing through attrition 1 into 26, 27. Chickalimmy, 850, and they have 6 math teachers. So we have 8. We can do this with 7. Guidance counselor, we have a retirement at the middle school. What we can do as an option is this, the above model is our current structure. We have 2 at East, these are counselors, 2 at West, 3 at the middle school, 3 at the high school. I give you the total number of kids per each of those buildings. And the recommendation, or one of the options, is to move from 4 at the elementary to 3. You would take 1 teacher and split them, 1 counselor, and split them between East and West. There's different ways to do that. We can do that they go every other day, or there's East is larger, they may be at East 3 days a week and West at 2. The recommendation is to have 1.5 at each of the elementaries and then remain consistent 3 at the middle school, 3 at the high school. This one I really don't like, but this is an option, and I believe we're in a position that we need options. We currently have 4 reading specialists / interventionists at East and 4 at West. We could reduce each of the buildings to 3.5. And same thing that I just said is share 1 between the 2 elementary schools. What we can do is that's a reduction, but we would use the federal dollars because title is paid through federal dollars. But you can take those federal dollars and use that money for classroom reduction. So you could pay an elementary teacher, one of our elementary teachers, with that money that you currently pay one of the reading specialists. Elementary positions. This is the current structure. We have 6 kindergarten in each of the buildings. East, first grade, we have 6. West, we have 5. Second grade, we have 6 at East. West, we have 5. Third grade, we have 5 at each of the buildings. And 4th grade, we have 5 at each of the buildings. We have 3 retirements in elementary. And you heard me say earlier that I want the least amount of kids per teacher at the elementary school. So I don't like this, but the position that we're in, I think we need to position the district that hopefully this is not long-term, that these these changes or options you have to reduce the deficit would be temporary, and if revenue comes in, which some of us think, or all of us think that will through data centers, you can go and you can hire back. You heard me say earlier that the high school has the least amount of kids with the per teacher at the high school level. If we weren't in a deficit, I would still be making recommendations to you to take retirements at the high school level and hire them differently to bring them into the elementary school. Title teachers focus primarily on reading. What I would ideally like to see long-term in this district is we have another fleet of teachers, I would call them RTII or MTSS teachers, where they work with kids on math skills at the elementary level in small settings. Now, there's different ways to look at that, and I'm not going to go into that tonight. But if you reduce these 3 positions, and I'll just go over each of those. Currently, I would look at the bottom chart. These are our class sizes. Berwick is the smallest of the schools that are listed on this diagram. And then the numbers below, I'll explain that this is where the numbers would go, 23, 22, 25, based on the 3 reductions. You could reduce to 5 second grade teachers. Class size would move from 19 currently to 23. I think this is really important for you to process, because that 23 is somewhat deceiving, because we have about 16 kids that are only included in those classrooms for 30 minutes a day. So if you take out those 16 kids, that number is actually 19. If you reduce a second grade teacher at West, class size would go to 17 to 22. 22 is well within the local districts below. You could reduce at 3rd grade as well, and you would have to shift people around to accomplish this, because all of our retirements are at the 2nd grade level. Class size, 4th grade, or you move to 4 teachers at East Berwick in 3rd grade, and class size would move to from 20 to 25. 25 is getting to be on the high end compared to the local districts. Special ed, we have a special ed retirement. We can move a grade level teacher from regular ed into special ed. I think we would have to look at if there's any additional moves, if anybody takes on a different job, and look at those as the summer progresses. But what I would recommend to the board, because this will be difficult, because it's based on certification. Historically, I think Berwick has, when a teacher has asked to take something off their certification, they need to get approval from the board to do that. I would recommend not doing that in the future. And why I say that, it's nothing personal against the individual, but when you hired the individual, they had those certifications for exactly this purpose. And when you allow people to take that cert off, it gives you less options to do things when you need to do them, as far as moving people around. Does that make sense?
Are you saying that the board allowed that?
The school districts, you need to have approval by the board to take something off of a
So we haven't done
certification.
that here?
So it's my understanding that you have.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, and I would say it's nothing personal to the individual, but I would recommend against that.
So that was a board motion?
Yes.
All right, so 2 improvements. What I just went over is 9 positions that you have the option to eliminate through attrition. I'm recommending, if you do the 9, it would only be 8, because I would like to see us hire a PE teacher / house teacher for the high school. We currently have 1, and Mike Bennett does the dean role. Mike only covers, I think, 2 classes currently. This is one of the areas that I've talked about with you as a board about, and think that we can do a lot better job if we have more hands and more teachers down there. When Mrs. Hinkle put together the course selection guide, we really were creative and tried to create PE classes that are attractive for kids. So we, I think some of those were like net sports and maybe yoga was one.
Lifetime sports.
To make that happen, we need that additional PE teacher at the high school level. The second item is a small item, but Brent is telling me that this is an absolute need for his maintenance department. It's currently not in the budget, but it's $36,500 for a sidewalk snow brush machine. Do you have anything to add to that? Maybe
No, it could be, that's the difference between me having to call Dr. Bendel and tell him he has to cancel school. So we only have one, you know that Bauer added more sidewalk all around the area here. We actually did have an incident to where the only one snow brush we had went down, and it made it tough. We got lucky. I think we ended up calling it later that day to have off, but it's something that we definitely need.
Now, we weren't in this position this year, but I work really hard to make a good decision for snow, weather-related closures or delays, but I also try to be understanding of the community and be able, like, whether we like it or not, we're the community's childcare. And I want kids in school. So I hope we're never in a position where Brent calls me, because my response will probably be get out there and shovel and we're going in the school. But this would provide him a tool that he needs in his department. A couple things, these are just for your information. Recently we got verbal communication. We don't have anything in writing, but we have heard there's been a lot of talk over the last 2 years that federal dollars, title dollars are going to be decreased. We've heard that they're not going to be decreased for the 26-27 school year. Beyond that, I have no idea. We expect reductions in that area in the years to come, but we're at least excited that that's not going to happen next year. We are being warned, superintendent-wise, that this current state budget, the current governor's proposal, is going to be the last budget that there are significant contributions to education. The last 4 to 5 years, there's been significant historic contributions to education. What we're told is that the governor's proposal depletes the entire rainy day fund of funds in Pennsylvania, and that expect to see funding increases return to where they were prior to the last 4 to 5 years, which, you know, Tony should know this, but I'm not going to put him on the spot. I would think that that's somewhere in the neighborhood of $200,000. I'm only kidding, you shouldn't know that yet. $200,000 versus currently $1 million, or $848, which is in the government budget. We were told to expect, and people may have mixed feelings about this, but to expect some type of cell phone ban for students in schools. The governor is currently pushing to have bell-to-bell. People are, what does bell-to-bell mean? Does that mean start to end? Does that mean from class to class? But we were told it's probably 95 or 99% that there will be a cell phone ban attached to the state budget when it's passed this year. Really impacts probably our high school the most. I don't think it's probably a bad thing. Some people may view it as a bad thing, but I think there is a lot of evidence out there that cell phones are not good for kids. I think there are some educational value to it, but I think kids use it for communicating to each other, many times in a negative way, which we end up dealing with, people over there end up dealing with. And if we could eliminate them out of schools, kudos to the governor. We did get some good news that expect a state budget in January. Many times when it's an election year, you see a budget magically get passed early, so just expect to see that.
I'll hold my breath.
Yeah, well, it better not be like last year. All right, so I talked to you about the 9 positions, which would turn into 8 if we did hire a PE teacher at the high school level. 8 teachers equates to about $1 million. If you did those reductions, I'm recommending that we reduce Dr. Shotwell's budget with curriculum. There's $185,000 for new curriculum. We would recommend taking that down to $85,000. I think we were looking at, along with other things, but ELA for the middle school. But what we would do is probably ELA just for 5th grade into next year. We're looking at recommending Steve's budget be reduced by $70,000. That $70,000 is for replacement of staff laptops. It's not a positive. I think there's a need to replace them, but what we would have to do is really go on a as-needed basis and replace the ones that are in dire need. But we are going to have to replace them all, if not this year, into probably next year. The things that I talked to you tonight, take that 2.9 down 1.17 and leave us, if you exercised all these options, to a deficit of 1.73 million. As I stated earlier, that doesn't include the governor's budget, so 848,000. I don't count money before we have it. I don't count real estate tax money before we have it. I don't think we can live off money before it's here, but we will get some kind of increase from the governor, or from our state. And it does not include any type of tax increase. So the board would have to have dialogue, which I'm hoping you will, on, you have the option for a tax increase from 0 to 4.8. And please understand, I am not someone that takes tax increases lightly. I don't think that the burden should be put on the local taxpayer. I am just, this presentation is giving you all of your options. With that said, I don't think you can go through year after year with a 0 tax increase either, because I think it puts you in a negative spot. So I hope that we're going to have a little dialogue on these topics, because the final budget we're going to have to put together, for the May meeting. That will be, not that there can't be changes from May till June, but if we're going to exercise these options, there's going to be motions that need to take place next week to do so. So, open it up to the floor for dialogue.
I have a couple thoughts. That was a nice, concise summary, thank you. Yours was good too. On the middle school, I thought that made sense as far as shuffling and numbers. I like getting away with the double block, or moving away from the double block. Is it possible to, you don't have to answer right now, I'm just gonna go through this quick. Is it possible to add a recess in there or mandatory PE? High school made sense. On the elementary, I struggle with reducing numbers there, just knowing what we're dealing with on behavioral issues and special needs. I don't like the idea of reducing guidance or any numbers, whether it's reading specialist or classroom teacher. I would rather wait and see what we get from any tax assessment on the data centers and revisit that next year. As far as laptop replacement, we are going to be receiving transfer taxes from the data centers. Should that be a budget issue, or can we pull from fund balance for that?
So we are getting transfer tax money. That is one-time money. What I have always taken a stance with the board, and you guys, again, these are options. You can do as a board, you tell me to do something, and I may tell you I don't think that's a smart move. You do what you want. One-time money, I've always advocated for one-time expenses. I would not advocate for us to look at balancing our budget, because I don't think it fixes a problem with one-time money. I do think that real estate transfer taxes, you could do things like we're getting a design for the tennis courts. We talked about Gordner Stadium out. Went in the wrong direction. That was going the right direction. I think you could do those types of items that are one-time expenses with one-time money.
So is ELA and laptop an annual expense, or is that?
To me, I look at that as there is a replacement cycle that needs to take place, so I look at that as not a one-time expense. You are gonna replace those again.
Is the snow brush a one-time expense?
I think you could look at things, that's probably gonna last
10 years?
20 years.
25 to take care of it?
30. Realistically, I think that's more realistic to think of those as one-time expenses, maybe a truck that they desperately need in the maintenance department. Laptops, you probably should be replacing them every 5 years, so I don't think that they're a one-time expense. Just my opinion.
I agree using that as one-time money because depending upon what happens legislatively in Harrisburg, we have no idea what's going on with these data centers until it actually happens.
Right, the transfer tax, so I would be in favor of using that for the track, for the tennis courts,
Absolutely, yeah,
Or-
like
or the
one-time
laptops.
stuff,
The
absolutely.
playground at East Berwick.
playground.
Taxes, I'm tired of paying.
Yeah, me too.
I live in the district, I'm really tired of
I'm
paying.
tired of paying my school districts too. I agree with you.
So if we get that, to me, that's what's the thought of taxpayers. It's great, the tennis courts are good, will be good, the track will be good,
You mean use it for,
help reduce it, yeah.
reduce
Like
the
4
transfer
point whatever.
tax?
Yeah,
I could support hiring a phys ed teacher at the high school and cutting 3 elementaries. I think it goes against what I believe. I went to hire in the elementary, and I've been at the high school, and we made it work with larger numbers than what they have now. So I think that's bad to say we're gonna cut 3 elementary teachers and add a phys ed teacher.
Well, and understand, I wanna make sure that you guys understand, these are based on the retirements that we have.
Right.
I don't like those either. And I would hope that if we do exercise those, that they are short-term, not long-term, to get us in a position where we're getting to a balanced budget. But everything you said, I completely agree with. So, but I'm providing you the options that you have where no one loses a job.
What was the slide you said you didn't like?
Pretty much all of them.
The reading specialist. The
Reading
reading specialist,
specialist.
yeah, so that was factored in your final number, right?
Yeah, the positions that I talked about are 9 positions. It takes down to 8 with the PE teacher. I agree with you, but I think PE is a need at the high school. So that's why it's on my slide.
So if we kept the reading specialist and the elementary teachers and added the gym teacher, how many? 350, you said?
Hold on, you said 3, keep 3 elementary
Or
teachers?
the elementary and reading specialist.
That was $375, I think.
That takes your $1 million to $500,000.
Okay.
I don't agree with getting rid of the elementary stuff either. I think we need those at the elementary level. There's kids struggling that I think need help, and if they don't get it in those elementary years, they're not gonna get it. And I think we should keep those teachers or replace them.
I don't disagree with you. What I will tell you as a board is if you reduce that to $500,000, that you're only doing that, then this number here goes to about 2.25, which potentially comes out of your fund balance. Depends what happens here as well. Once you spend down your fund balance, it's gone. So we're sitting with a healthy fund balance, but if you don't address your budget concerns long-term and money does not come into the district, you're gonna have a lot harder talks than tonight.
I understand that, but with the transfer tax coming and probably a much larger transfer tax coming in October, I know we're not counting money we don't have, but there's gonna be retirements next year. I think we can revisit that after we know more about the assessed value of the data centers and how the taxation is gonna work on that. This my thought is, I would rather keep those positions this year and use the recent transfer tax we got toward the budget for this year.
Where are others?
What's that?
I don't think we should be filling those positions this year. I would give it some more guidance counselors, to be honest with you. I think that's an awful lot of guidance counselors. Put them in the classroom. They Should be certified that way.
certification. They are in the classroom, some of them.
The guidance counselor.
Guidance counselors teach some classes, correct. If you wanted other options, what you would be talking about is loss of job, not, everything that I showed you tonight is no loss of job.
Watching what's happening in the Northwest, I think I'm with Jeff right now. I don't wanna be in those talks in a year or two.
Well, we closed the
Where,
school.
where we're talking with no fund balance and nowhere to go and one of the state's gonna come in.
Yeah, I'd rather be conservative, and if these data centers do start going online, well, we could always reduce millage. It's happened in this district before. We can hire for additional positions. The problem is, if we don't do something now, and that 2.9 turns into 3.5, 4, 5 million next year, now what do we do? I think be conservative now.
What do you mean by be conservative, like not replace any of the retirement?
Pretty much for this year. That's my thought. But then if this Amazon money starts rolling in, we can start advertising, so we know what we have.
My conservative, I'll go back to it, would be, I think it puts us at 6. Keep the 3 elementary, don't hire a gym teacher, and have 6.
Maybe we could go through these, middle school. Is there anybody opposed to middle school?
Then we bring them down lower. When I'm looking at class sizes for the setting schools. The other,
So what I'll tell you is between Dave, Liz and I, we probably spent, I don't know, a month or two trying to come up with what the best options for the building to make sure that we keep a high level of education, but also, try to not impact class size as much. Probably not with the retirements that I have currently.
and we can't
So-
move teachers from the high school to the middle school.
That was gonna be
You
my question, do
can,
we have any high school that have
But we
elementary
still
stuff?
need to have, the only option that you would have is potentially to go to higher class size and reduce this number. I don't know if it's an option or not. We can look at it, but I think this is the best that this is my recommendation to you with middle school. Over time, potentially, if you get more retirements at the high school level and middle school level, maybe.
I have a hard time reducing on the elementary level, I just don't think it serves the students.
So is everybody okay with the middle school? I just want to kind of
Makes
take,
sense.
okay. Is everybody okay going from 8 to 7 math teachers?
Yeah.
Can we do 6?
Not with the current retirements. Especially if you move the middle school schedule, you're eliminating two, it would take me longer than tonight. If you wanna come in and I'll show you what we've done, there's a lot of shuffling that takes place to get us through where that is. If you had another retirement or someone left, absolutely. You could go to 6. I heard what you said. I think this is the simplest one. I don't think you need 4 counselors at the elementary level. Any dialogue on that?
And I'd like to hear from the admin or teachers and students.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. And you can talk to all the people you want, but no one's going to advocate for less staff. When you have to make a decision, that's why you're on a board, and that's why you have to make tough decisions. No one, and I don't want you to, principals, now they do, they work with me with this, but every principal should be advocating for their building. Teachers should be advocating for their buildings. I bet you cannot find one teacher in this building, or in this district, that's gonna say, yep, we probably can do it with less.
Yeah, I understand that, but you have to read between the lines on what's being said. I watch sports, Tom Brady, prime Tom Brady was on the table right now, and I needed a quarterback, I'm gonna pay him what he deserves over Daniel Jones. I want value for my product. So if spending a little bit more money brings more value to the students, I'm okay with that, and the numbers make sense, especially with the transfer tax we just got. And I know we're not counting what we don't have yet, but we're getting something.
I work in a school, middle school, paid, 3A, we have 900 students, there's one guidance counselor. I can't figure out what we have grade 4 in the middle school. And maybe they teach it in Berwick. But 3, that's a lot.
Regardless, we don't have 3 retirements. So if you wanted to go down further in this area, you'd have to.
I can actually see the high
don't think anybody
school,
wants to talk further.
but I can see the high school because kids are preparing for college. That junior high one, that makes no sense to me at all.
Anybody else on this? I think you were against it, Mark. Or is everybody else okay with this one? This is the one, this is the reading specials. This is one, for me, that if you do it, I think when you have money, you bring that back. But you also can have guys, like, these are all options. You as a board have to make these determinations.
And in that position, we take that to class reduction. But we probably, let me know if I don't know if I'm right or wrong here. We couldn't use that money for one of our current teachers because it would be something that I don't want to screw up.
You can utilize it in certain instances specific to building economically disadvantaged.
But it would be those 3 positions that I don't want to lose. We would put the money towards one of those. Would that be?
Depends on their number of students and which building has the higher percentage of students that are economically disadvantaged.
I think that would make sense.
Others?
Can we move teachers from other buildings to be basically a tutor, reading tutor? If we have an extra at the high school, or an extra at the junior high, and make them like tutors for the 2 outlying schools.
I think you still need to live within the certification of what they're certified in.
So an English teacher couldn't be a reading tutor.
So a secondary English teacher probably shouldn't be tutoring at the elementary. Not that they couldn't for like after school or something like that, but I think you may run into certification.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Well, we can emergency cert them in, if the emergency teachers.
You have to be cautious with
Yeah, I don't
the
think
federal
you can just
funding
take a
for
person
it.
and say, okay, you're not teaching at the high school and we're gonna emergency cert you to be an elementary teacher. No, I would not recommend doing that. So, I'm taking, this is, we'll move forward with a motion for this.
I would use that, though.
I don't like that either, but I'm just.
I don't like it, but I worry that if we don't try to do stuff now, and this problem becomes worse in a very year or two. I mean, one thing we have to consider too is how much real estate taxes can we possibly lose until these data centers come online? If you figure they're demolishing a ton of property up there. They're probably gonna get reassessed as vacant land.
They won't reassess.
I think they
No, they won't reassess. They'll be paying taxes on that.
even though the houses are gone.
Houses aren't gone, that'll be the next phase.
Is that what I gather? I thought they care a lot now.
Yeah, they want to reassess that.
No, they do.
Say you don't
Only
think
they
they'll
know,
know.
once they won't, they do. By the time they figure it out, by the time they know the process, they'll already be up. Just Want to see that?
Regardless, they're hypotheticals.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about the dollars we have or the dollars we guarantee.
All right, these are the three that I think we need to do dialogue on. I heard people say they're opposed.
As much as I don't like it, I think the numbers are still reasonable. Coming from somebody that started kindergarten with 33 kids in his class.
Yeah, that was like 90 years ago. Kids are a lot different now.
I'm opposed.
I'm also,
It's four.
We rehire these three and the PE teacher, that's what, we're doing with 5 reduction?
Three and you would be at,
You also have cost of
you'd be at
replacement.
5 reductions.
You're also gonna have cost of replacement, so you're gonna be saving there. So if you go from a step 20 to a step 10, that's gonna save about $40,000.
If you do, if you
do,
hire, that's again a hypothetical
It is.
of who applies.
I don't think I like this one either. I think we should keep those three.
Well, that's 5, so I will take those off. All right, I think the last one is PE teacher. Bob, you said you're opposed. Where are others?
I'm in favor.
I think we need a female and a male for both, for locker room. We need somebody to cover one.
Agree?
I know as a parent, I could honestly say our PE curriculum was next to non-existent. This past school year.
You're in favor?
I'd say so. If we want to make our PE curriculum worth anything.
I'm in favor of another PE teacher.
I'm in favor.
It's 4-1, just need one other. Or 4 others. I'm not trying to swear.
Like Jeff said,
It can't change.
it's a safety issue at that point.
The kids can't change for Jeff
Yeah.
if you don't have a female in the locker room.
All right. I think I got my marching orders. I'll be adding those motions.
Yeah.
That could be a discussion, I don't know if you guys want to, like, you said that, I don't know if there's further discussion on that topic.
Right now.
Talk about that. Sure, we have it on here.
I saw it somewhere. Which one?
Say as far as what you have on the slide, I would be in favor of, if you set it in the transfer tax money to give computers, the curriculum, the snow machine, pull that all out of that. I consider that close enough for one time.
Yeah,
Well, if you put it in the budget, then next year you have to make it up again, right?
Yeah.
Any upgrade for the rifle will be one-time purchase then. You gotta look at the track and the tennis, we should look at rifle.
Swimming
10
time or
years or
stuff
something.
like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole list of stuff that would.
A long list of one-time purchases.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, have a whole list,
Facility assessment.
maybe
Probably-
back in March.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
probably
lot.
10 times the transfer tax, but.
Why don't I do this, why don't, we had enough dialogue on this, why don't I pull that back up, and we can have dialogue on that in May. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Athletics. Okay, budget we just did, probably get some grounds.
The only topic we have on here is playground equipment and outdoor classroom update.
I will be under 3 minutes.
All right, good.
So and I also need to bring a textbook for academic affairs for AP Language and Lit. This is here for your
You bring
review.
up the 3-minute clock. Rachel.
Put on my time, look at my time.
Just kidding, just kidding.
So, we
Only
are in a
kidding.
place where I think we have to have some conversations about playground stuff, whether it's tonight or whether it's in the next month or so, because we are ready to move forward with the next phase of our outdoor classroom. So I did just want to share with the board what we've done so far and where we're going next. This is like a palate cleanser, right? So none of this is coming out of our district budget. This is grant funding that we've been able to allocate. Can you pull up the page just so I can show them the presentation? It's really quick, and there's a lot of slides. We're not going to go through all the slides. So right now, go down, just keep scrolling and keep going. We are planning, go up to slide 16. So we currently have an open space in the East Berwick area, in the back of the building here, that had had some raised beds previously. They've not been utilized. We haven't been able to take students out there because there was a staircase that went down to the basement, and we needed to do some funding to get that fenced in so that we could use the space. So we have since been able to procure that funding. We have the fencing that's been put in. We have a new shed that has been procured. We have benches that are currently being produced by the VOTEC students, and we are getting ready to move on to the next phase of our project here. So you can go ahead through. I'm going to show you what's coming next. So this is going to be an artist rendering of our very first pieces, and then I wanted to just share out with all of you on the board some ideas that we might need your support with as well.
Where are these flowers at? I don't see them.
They're coming. This is part of it. All right, so go ahead to the next area. So the first piece that we're going to be installing through partnership with Native Creations and some students from King's College is a mudless kitchen and some raised beds. So this is going to be an area where our students can do creative play. We know that over here at East Berwick, we do not have as much outdoor playground spaces. So this is intended to be an area where there will be playground space for students, but also for us to be able to use this as an actual outdoor learning area for elementary students. This will be the first thing that comes in. You can go out back and see our shed that's been placed there. We should have the outdoor kitchen in for our students to utilize this spring, and our raised beds will be delivered here shortly. Keep going. We're also going to have our outdoor classroom. The benches are already in progress right now. We are looking to get some grant funding from the Berwick Arts Association to install some removable murals to some of our wall sections. And we will have some space out there with like a movable whiteboard so our teachers can actually take our students outside to do more instruction in a space that is conducive for that. Keep going. These are the things that will come in the next year. So we're thinking about this as our 2-year project. This is the area that will be a fruit forest for our students. So everything that's there are things that students can eat or try in the future for us to have in our outdoor classroom space. Keep going. This is the area that needs some decisions in regards to the playground piece. So Pam, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to share out, there have been conversations about the inclusive playground equipment. We are ready to move forward one way or the other with this area in the middle. This would be an opportunity that if there is a different direction for the playground, that inclusive piece could be placed here. We may be able to utilize some of that funding from our sponsor to put that in where it would be ADA accessible for our students to have the chimes in a musical area. Keep going. There will be a small red bud grove in the back corner. This is going to help us to make sure that we have some more shade area for play. This has been a challenge around our building here in particular, and so this will be an opportunity for us to have some of that natural space. Keep going. We'll have a winter garden area in the corner. This is going to be an area that will stay green through most of our winter so that our students are still able to access that. It's also going to be able to kind of keep that lawn area down to lighten the load on our buildings and grounds crew when it comes to what they'll need to mow. We're also looking to have an art park and a boulder garden. This is going to be an open area for our students to display some of their different art exhibits. We're going to have some boulders that are in here. It's going to take care of some of the storm water that may collect in some of the corners as well, and just have this as an open area for our students. was one of the most liked slides that I shared with some high school students who were really excited to help partner with this. They're looking to build out, these are clouds that when it rains, they collect the rainwater in the back, and then it has chains that come down from the clouds, so the water will kind of drip down. It helps with drainage, and it's also another sensory area for our students. We will have our sensory gardens. This is going to be a space, especially with our East Berwick students. We have a number of autistic support classrooms in this building, and so giving them an extra space for us to be here. Our plants that are being selected will have different feels, sounds, scents, and a lot of diversity for our students. You can keep going. Our Moonlight Garden will have primarily some white flowering native plants. If any of you know, perhaps someone who's looking for an Eagle Scout project, this would be a wonderful Eagle Scout project for someone. We would look to see if someone's able to help us build out these trellises. And those are your pollinator areas, Dr. Brendel, that are not there yet, but will be there in the future. One of the things that we made clear is we didn't want to have lots of vegetables in our gardens out here because those just don't tend to work in an outdoor space like this. So instead we're going to have areas where we'll have the pollinators, we'll have those seed areas, but it's not something that has to be harvested on a regular basis. You can keep going. You can keep going. There's just the impact, so I can show you all that. Our next steps is that we are committed to making sure that we are keeping this self-funded. So we had some initial seed funding that came up from our Amazon donations. Donations are grants. We had some other small grants that we were able to bring into play with this. We will be looking for some community partners who might like to sponsor one of the garden areas. Native Creations has been great with chunking out each of the garden costs separately so that if we are sharing out with community partners some nice ways that they'll be able to contribute in the future. Our goal is that this will be done over the next 2 years.
Whoever made those renderings, hold them accountable.
They're really beautiful, aren't they? I know.
And then the second comment is whoever made those renderings, Brent hates because that's a lot of work for him.
No, this actually should help. I know Brent doesn't totally believe me.
I'd like to announce my retirement.
No.
Could you put that
On Betty's
You
agenda.
didn't show that to him before.
Let's get some
So
chickens.
the goal is for this is that this is something that's going to be pretty self-sustaining. So I have teachers over here who've already talked about that. We're getting some of our high school students and middle school students involved. But it is going to help with, right now it's just being mowed and it's not a used area. So if any of you are out back and you look over in the corner, there's this big chunk of space that we're just not really using for our kids.
Is it going over here or over here?
And so when you go out back and you know where the gazebo is,
Yeah.
and there's that space right in between that's fenced in. So if you go back there and you look, the gazebo's here, this
Inside the
space.
door of the building.
Yep, it's in like the little U there. It's not being used for anything. Those raised beds have been completely overgrown. They just weren't maintained. And we wanted to make sure we did these plans that the maintenance was going to be something we could actually keep up with. So I think they had originally put in some vegetables that it's not going to be easy to maintain. But we're really excited. It was wonderful to hear. I had some high school students over here this past week. And one of them said, like, she was so excited about the possibility of this for the school district. So we're hoping that this will be the hallmark. And then the next step will be to get Jill some things like this over at West Berwick to revamp some of her outdoor spaces she has too. She can't use the roof.
Exactly.
So this is a usable space for us. So that's it.
CSIU.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about it, but they just brought it to my attention. They wanted to congratulate our school district, Children's Center School, Fishwell, and Scott Hook, and their students for the work. They won first place in the esports league rocket league challenge.
And we have this ballot proof, correct?
Yes, I said vote no.
Probably will vote no for you. So we'll get that filled out for you. Okay, policy committee.
If the state does push bell to bell, even if they don't, we have multiple policies in the building books. We should probably consider a board policy that ties them all together. Consistency.
What I would just recommend is maybe hold off and see if the budget is passed early and see what the requirements are for that before we pass it and then need to revise it.
Yeah, at this point, I would see what they do.
I haven't seen
If
what
we
that-
don't have a budget, state budget by the start of the school year, we can have it there.
I haven't seen what the proposal is yet.
Okay.
Tech, we had our meeting there last month. Tony can probably attest to this. Their budget is a miniature version of ours. We're looking at the time about $700,000 deficit. We're looking at not replacing at least one or two retirees down in a couple other things, the cost-cutting measures. We had a lot of dialogue. Some of the dialogue was about shared services. We have the special ed director, at least have conversations, what it would look like, the shared services amongst the sending districts. Obviously, well, I guess it was in our position to have the shared service discussion, and that's their story for tomorrow. As far as the workshop, we're gonna have more budget talks there. Hopefully we can get that whittled down and get a good sustainable path. And I know a lot of the superintendents, not all of them, are planning on coming.
I'll be there tomorrow.
We're working on the budget there, but they are in the same boat we are, that there's more needs than with our dollars. I don't know if everyone got a chance to look for the tentative agenda items for next week. Now we can ask questions next week.
There'll be a couple of motions added based on our discussions tonight.
Right. So we have some reservations, retirements coming up. Other comments, any board member comment? Superintendent?
I just got 6 more things. No, actually I have 3.
What's that?
Okay. Well, then I have 4. May, this one's a quick one. The May meeting, we're gonna have to advertise the work session as a voting meeting as well, because we need to pass the proposed final budget. You need 30 days to put it on public display, so we'll take care of that advertisement, but I will let you know that. Mr. Michaels has something to briefly talk about, a request that came from the PTA. Spirit Rock.
Spirit Rock, yeah, I'll plant that idea here. Like that. See what I did there? This was something that was brought to my attention. It was a fundraising idea, and I didn't want to just completely say yay or nay. I want to bring it here to the board for you to hear the proposal. And what the Spirit Rock is, very similar to like you would see at our Berwick movie theater, Happy Birthday Bo. Somebody would advertise, pay money and advertise that up there, that message. So what our parent group is proposing is that we get a spirit rock, if you will, a boulder, large rock that families would pay to basically advertise one of their own messages onto that. That rock would be put on our school district property, yet to be determined where, if you felt it was worthy of moving forward. There are many rules about it. Certain types of paints that you can use, that you can't use. Families would be responsible for renting out, if you will, the boulder. Also providing the paint, doing their own artwork, and following the guidelines of using the appropriate paint. With some things drafted up that if rules weren't followed properly, if paint wasn't used properly, there would be an additional fee attached, and it would need to be fixed, washed over. There's quite a bit of things that go along with it. Some do's and don'ts if someone would choose to rent this out and spray paint or decorate their message for people. That's kind of summarizes it in a nutshell.
Get a weed whacker for Grant too.
Is there something more to mow around, Brent?
We'll have 600 things to mow around out there too.
Well, what would an example be that they would advertise?
Happy birthday, Bo.
And how long would it be on?
That would be up for suggestion. Generally, would it be a one-day rental or a two-day rental or whatever? We haven't come up with the idea of, if that's the message and no one rents it for a week, who clears that message off?
So if
of
I
the
can
law?
interrupt you, it would just stay there until someone else rents it. That was what they discussed, like if it's rented, if Greg rents it for Bo, and it's today, and nobody rents it till next week, then that message just stays there.
So like Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Christmas lights.
So whenever nobody rents, we'll strike Bo on it.
And how big are we thinking?
I'm not certain on the rock size yet. I'm guessing it'd be rather large.
I have two in my yard, take them up. They're rather large.
No, it's just a rock. It's not a stupid.
I have grandchildren down in North Myrtle Beach, and they have this at their middle school, and my daughter said it's fantastic. That it's generally for birthdays. And
No other messages, like who would it be approving the messages or anything?
So I would tell you, I think if people are comfortable with this, I think we would work with the PTA to put some guidelines in of what's allowable, what's not allowable, what this looks like. We wanted to at least have some conversation with you because we didn't want to dump a big boiler out there and start spray painting on it. You guys come back and say, what the heck did you guys do?
They didn't formally put the request in. Because this has been brewing for some time now, and I've always had some reservations and questions about it. But it did come up again in conversation.
Is there anybody that has anything to say on this topic? Is everybody comfortable with it?
I think if we put it out there and it doesn't get rented and nobody rents it following the rented period, I think we should make it available to our students to go out and use for art class.
I think you could do some stuff with the high school art club or art classes to do, absolutely.
They had also talked about at the meeting, the PTA meeting, about hiring someone, if I rent it and I wanna hire someone to decorate it for me for my kid's birthday, like this way, like other people can get in on it too.
You can hire me for $500 a pop. I'm not saying it will look nice, but I'll do it for you.
That'd be my route, because no one can see what I did have to splatter on there.
One thing I want to draw your attention to is PSBA put out recently, and you probably want to know this as well if you don't know yet. PSBA is moving away from board docs. And they're moving away very quickly. I think it is July 1. So we have some options. Everybody is used to board docs, and I'm concerned with moving to a new system that PSBA, not EA. What, do you remember the name of the system?
It's currently board book, but it would be Keystone Agenda once it would roll out July 1st.
What I will tell you is policies are going to have to go through Keystone Agenda. They will no longer go through board docs. Our recommendation is hold off with moving agendas and go with board docs at least for one more year and not be the guinea pig to jump into this July 1, because we have no idea. I'm not beating up PSBA. I'm sure there's reasons why they're leaving board docs, but I just think it's way too quick to say by July we're gonna have a brand new system. So our recommendation to you, we already pay for board docs, leave it as is. We will move the policies to, what do you call it, Keystone Agenda, and just not be the guinea pig for next year.
How does this impact PSBA's obligation to review and consolidate our current policies?
That's why you would keep, that's why agendas would go through their new system.
Policies would stay where they are, you're saying?
No, policies would move to the Keystone Agenda. Everything else would stay as is. If that system works and it's great and we're ready to make a shift to something new, great, but,
Yeah, because what we do with all the old agendas, minutes and stuff like that.
that's what I'm saying, like, I don't be the guinea pig, is my recommendation.
We kind of lost the old stuff when we went to board docs. Or they're buried on the website somewhere where, I don't know, Steve is, but.
Everybody comfortable with the recommendation of just staying with?
I'm good with staying, especially if we already paid for it.
Okay. And then the last topic I have, Keith had asked me about graduation and what the board's desire is as far as on the stage, off the stage. I don't care where you sit, I just, if you wanted to bring that up.
I'd say on stage used to be the tradition here for many, many years, and it looks professional. If you know anyone you want to give out the diplomas, you're right there. It's my suggestion of going back, and there's plenty of room there. That way you don't have to worry about taking seats away from someone else. Plus too, if you want to go and sit in the bleachers, that's totally prerogative.
I think it's the students' day, this is just my personal opinion, it's not, parents and family aren't coming here to see the board, they're coming here to see their students on stage. I mean, I would be in the bleachers.
Doesn't matter, just give an option, if you wanna have seats up there, bleachers.
So I understand the boards sit on the stage at graduation.
Yeah, that's what has been that's been a tradition for umpteen years until just recently.
Sure. I think obviously changing COVID, I don't think it changed before that, did it, Jill? Was it COVID that change was made? I believe 1 year, when I went back there, I think we had
Yeah,
it
you
on 1 year.
had this when you were in high school principal a few years ago. I think it looks better, it looks more professional.
I'm neutral on it, I mean, as a principal that night, you just wanna make sure everything goes smoothly, like, I never cared, to be honest, who was sitting behind me, cause I just was more worried that let's get through it and make it.
You guys sit on
look
one
good
side
and
of this stage and the board sits on the other, we just kind of stay on the road unless there's someone coming along that, family member, close friend, or whatever.
I think if you leave it up to the board, definitely make sure you have the right count, so you don't have empty
Well,
chairs
that's
and
what I was
stuff like
gonna
that.
say.
Because then, I mean, if you only have 2 board members up there, no one will know, the rest aren't. No one's, like you said, I agree, no one cares. But as long as they can set the stage up ahead of time and the principal knows
Yeah,
exactly.
you do
what's
a
going on.
RCP at the principal, if you want to sit on the stage, fine, if you want to sit in the audience, just RSVP so they know where you are, so they can do the announcements.
Why don't you guys, as boards, let me know if you wanna sit on stage or not. I will get a count to Cheyenne and Kate so that they can plan accordingly. Fair enough? That's all I got.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
There's no comment at the end.
Hold on. Hey, read that in book. No, I'll tell you why. Because all of them-